Hey, welcome to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. We have two special guests, a foster parent and a case manager. You don't want to miss this show. We'll be right back. Welcome to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. I'm your host, Perry Black, and on this show, we have two beautiful young ladies. Can I get a shout and an amen?
She is.
JJ Patty and Sarah White. Sarah is a foster parent, her and her husband, and JJ is a case manager.
Yes, sir.
And so on this show, we're going to be talking to you about what Second Chance Ranch does, and even DCFS, Department of Children and Family Services, say we do so good at, or so well at, and that is supporting our foster parents. And as a placement agency, part of what we do is we interview, train, and equip our foster parents, and then we give them 6 kids and never see them again.
Right.
Not actually. What we actually do is our case managers stay in contact and support along with our clinical staff, because working with children can be challenging, to put it mildly. So tell me, JJ, how did you come to know Second Chance Youth Ranch?
Well, let's see. Started working for you at TNT when I moved here in 2017.
TNT stands for Teens and 20s. That's the complex at Family Church in Bryant. And you worked in the office.
I did. Worked in the office because you made a job for me. I appreciate that.
But I think I made a job for you because you were going to work in Arkansas Christian Academy.
That's correct. I was going to teach. You didn't have an availability to teach at the time, but I was a teacher, so worked for you for a few months, and then when...
Well, then I called the principal and I said, listen, this woman's getting on my last nerve. Y'all need to make a place for her. No, I didn't really say that.
Might actually be the case.
And then you went over to Arkansas Christian Academy and you
Correct.
taught what?
4th and 5th grade.
And then you decided, I really don't want to
2 years.
teach anymore, so we moved you into the office?
Correct.
Of the school?
Elementary office,
And
yes.
then you decided, I don't want to do that anymore?
Well, that was always the plan. When my kids graduated, I would stop working, and so they graduated, so I stopped working.
Where'd they graduate?
From Arkansas Christian Academy.
At 21815 I-30 in Bryant,
That is
Arkansas.
correct.
Can't beat that. And both of your young people work for, one works in the preschool, that's your daughter who just turned 22, and your
Correct.
son is a coach in our school. What does he coach?
Basketball.
Basketball.
Varsity, well, JV and varsity boys
Basketball. Anyway, they went to school and were involved in the school and all that, so that's pretty cool. How old is he? She's 22. How old is your son?
He'll be 24 next week.
Wow, that's amazing. Y'all came from Louisiana.
We did.
And just so that you know, if you need autographs, they attended church with the Duck Commanders.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. The Robertson family.
That's right.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. All right, and so you have another special guest, Sarah, who's so excited about talking. Sarah, tell us about you. How did you find out about Second Chance Youth Ranch?
So it was shortly after we started coming to Family Church.
Ah, very cool. Did you know that Mrs. Patty attended Family Church?
Did you?
They did. And I was successful in running them off.
Oh.
Actually, I didn't run them off. I sent them as missionaries to another church
There you
in the
go.
community. A little struggling church that nobody's ever heard of called New Life Church, Pastor Chad Denman. And he has yet to send me a thank you card, if that tells you anything. He's probably been calling the school principal.
Probably.
So tell me, how did you and your husband meet?
So we met on a online dating app.
Online dating.
In Florida.
Wasn't he like a professional paintball
player.
guy?
Yes.
A professional.
He was.
Yeah. And y'all raise dogs now.
Frenchies. Yep.
Frenchies. So if you need a Frenchie, I don't know exactly what I just said, but if you need one, they can
It's a
contact
French
you.
bulldog.
Contact us here at 2CYR-TV. And how long have y'all been foster parenting?
This has been 3 years going on 4.
And so at one time, y'all lived on the 350 acres that we have.
We did.
300 acres out in Perrin, in the country. And then some time ago, we built a new foster home in Benton. Just happened to have a conversation with the Benton mayor just 30 minutes ago. Good friend. And over on Smithers.
Praise the Lord.
And y'all moved in there. Was that around Christmas?
last year.
Last year?
November.
November.
It's only been 5 or 6 months?
So, sorry, the
year.
previous year. So
Yeah.
it's been a little over a year.
God, time travels fast when you're raising foster children, doesn't it?
It does.
Unless you're actually living with them in a house. So
Especially out there.
what is the interaction between a case manager, JJ, and a foster parent?
Well, they're kind of spoiled because I only work part-time, so I only have 2 homes. I have 9 children that I'm the case manager for. But
Well, a few months ago, I was out back by our new middle school here on this campus, and you come driving up in a Jeep loaded with children.
it's typical.
Yeah, and they were all just smiling ear to ear, like, man, we're out in the Jeep.
That's pretty typical. Yes, they got upset when I traded in my Jeep, but I got another one again, so
Yeah.
it's all good now. But so I divide my time between them and one other home, and so
What other home do you have?
the Myers, Tyler and Ellie Myers.
And they're out at the
out
ranch.
at the ranch.
Yeah.
So matter of fact, today I'll be going out to the ranch after school. So I take all the kiddos to their appointments that they need to go to. Excuse me. That we make sure that they have while they're in our care, and then during the day, usually on Tuesdays is usually with the Wyatt. So I spend a lot of time with her bio babies, and stay with them while they go and
So
run
just in
errands and
case somebody's
things.
watching, they don't know what a bio baby is. That sounds like from a laboratory. What's a bio baby? What is a bio baby?
Our biological children.
Oh, children, they're your children.
Correct.
So how many children do you and your husband have?
We have 4.
You have 4 children?
Yes.
And Frenchies?
Yes.
and 4 fosters.
And I put you in a brand new house?
We're doing
How
our
many
best.
fostered?
4.
Just 4? Wait a minute.
4. I
I'm gonna
got
have to have
8
a
kiddos
meeting. I think I built more bedrooms than that. So that's working pretty good, huh?
Yes.
So you get to spend time with foster parents and their bio children. When you say you take foster children to their appointments, what's that mean?
So when they come to us, usually most of them have never been to the dentist or the eye doctor or well child visits. So we had their immunizations, so we just make sure that they have all of that while they're in our care. So we take them, have all that done when they first come into care.
What's your
So-
interaction as a case manager with our clinical staff? Well, how's that work?
Well, I am part of the clinical staff, but I don't see the clinical staff very often. Very rarely do I make it over here to the office just because I'm either with them or I'm out at the ranch. And so, we have our meetings on Monday, but that's about the only time I ever see the clinical
So
staff.
you're part-time, so how many days a week do you typically work?
Usually 2 to 3.
2 to 3
As long
days.
as I get my billing hours and my ranch hours in, then, I'm good to go. But usually 2 to 3 days. But they're like on Tuesdays, usually, many times it's from sun up to sundown, so they're long days.
Yeah, long days. Because children are not taken out of someone's home on schedule,
Right.
anytime, day or night. So that's how I grew up with my parents being foster parents. Is go to bed with 6, wake up with 8. And at one time, 19 children at my house. That explains my mental capacity. Hey, we're going to take a brief break. We'll come back with the ladies, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
A mission field around you is filled with young hearts needing a forever family. And at Second Chance Youth Ranch, our team is committed to providing healthy, stable, loving homes and families to hurting children in the Arkansas foster care system and those up for adoption. Please contact us if you feel the tug at your heart to help foster or adopt, and find out the steps you could take to help fulfill a child's lifelong dream. Maybe you can't foster or adopt, but you could help. The need for thousands of children in the system is staggering. But with the help of faithful partners and business alliances, we are meeting those needs right now. Would you help us make a difference? Every gift, regardless of size, impacts a child's life directly and helps provide for a home in the gap right now. Visit the Second Chance Youth Ranch website at 2CYR.org to read more, watch the stories, and to make a contribution for a hurting child's care. Monthly partners are needed, so please contact us right away. And as you partner with this ministry, you are partnering with the Heavenly Father that has promised to be Father to the fatherless. God bless you for helping Second Chance Youth Ranch.
Hey, welcome back to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. If you're just joining us, my question is always, where have you been? But our special guest on this show is our case manager, one of our many case managers, and one of our many foster parents. JJ is our case manager. I was told the other day by Billy and Rachel, which most of our viewers would recognize, that we're up to about 83 foster children. Is that still, as far as y'all know, is that still about right?
We've added a few since then. I bet we're probably close to 90 now.
So every day we just get up and say, well, it's time to solve the crisis in foster care. And we do that by one heart, one prayer, one gift at a time. Can't, it's the old, how do you eat an elephant issue? You eat an elephant one bite at a time. And this elephant of child care, foster care, it's huge. It is a crisis. And I'm going to say what I've said to many, many opportunities on air. If every church, many churches in America are less than 100 people. They're not big. But if every church would just have one family step forward in that church, and that church would rally around that family and just be a support network like you are to our foster parents, we could solve this crisis immediately. Now, as a case manager, are you involved in any way like Liz Rosso is as far as training and recruiting and equipping, or you're just after they come on staff?
After they come on staff, then that's when I take over.
Yeah, and in some cases, like you and your husband, y'all are actually what we call staff foster parents. And then we have others that have their own homes, and they're what we refer to as community foster homes. But all of our community foster homes and our staff foster homes, they all get support from case managers.
Correct. Yes, campus homes usually get more so than the community homes do. I currently don't have any kiddos that are in a community home. I just have 2 campus homes right now. But
community home could be, and we do have one as far away as Sherwood, which is about a 30-minute, 25-minute drive from here, maybe 30.
Got a couple in Sheridan as well.
You're from right here on this campus, from our therapist, case managers, clinical, all that. They're right here. You're 10 minutes away.
Correct.
If you're doing a speed limit.
We're a little spoiled.
Yeah. And so tell us, what's the dynamic of being a foster parent? What is it you would want people to know, the challenges and the reward of fostering?
Well,
Let's go challenges first. You want to?
Okay. They're hurting.
Yeah.
So, and kids, they don't have filters. And so sometimes you get a little bit more lashing out than you would like. But you know the root of it is that they're hurting and that they're missing their families. And no matter how much you can love them, you can't really replace that.
Yeah.
And so usually after they leave us, they'll see how much that we've done for them, how much we actually loved them and supported them. And so they'll usually come back and say, hey, we love you. We're sorry that we were such a pain.
Yeah.
But overall, we know at the end of the day that what matters is that they're loved and they're cared for and that they're being protected and they're safe.
Yeah.
And that's the most that we can do, and pray over them, show them who Jesus is. And sometimes it's easier than others. Some are more open-minded and some are more closed off. But
it's kind of hard to find a foster child that doesn't want out of foster care.
correct.
They want to be home.
No parents or situation can do no wrong. They're their family. They love them. That's all they know. And that bond never ends.
Yeah. I grew up poor, and I didn't realize that I was poor because Mama made sure that if I hate to say it, but if our pants had holes in them, she'd put a big patch on them. She always made sure our clothes were clean, and we lived on the farm, and so we worked the garden, and since it was a hog farm, we had food, but I got free lunches at school. And I don't think the gravity of that really hit me because that was my life.
Right.
And so dysfunction is just normal for some, but it's not normal.
Right.
And so what's the challenge? You've got bio kids, and then you have the 4 foster children. I remember staff members that came to me early on, and they wanted to be foster parents. And I said, well, now you realize that foster children have been traumatized. You realize they may not talk the way you want to hear talk, and you might not want your kids to hear things that they would otherwise perhaps not hear. Does that happen sometime at your house?
Recently, actually.
Yeah, let me tell you what happened last night at dinner.
My three-year-old is now coming up to me saying words I wish he would have never heard, but it's out there in the world,
Yeah.
so we can't fully protect them from that.
Yeah, well, I was in the Army. I heard those words.
Yeah. And I was part of the world.
Yeah.
It came out of my mouth once upon a time, so there's no judgment.
But that's a learning experience even for your children, isn't it?
Exactly. So they're just being well-rounded a little bit earlier, and that's okay because that can be just part of God's plan for their life to be able to do whatever it is that they're meant to do.
Yeah. We don't really like to call them foster children because for whatever period of time, they're our kids, they're our children. What's the interaction between your children and the ones that are not your bio children?
I call them my bonus babies.
Yeah.
But they get along really well. Of course, kids that are together 24/7 eventually butt heads a little bit, and they bicker and they fuss. But for the most part, I mean, they just play. They're kids.
Yeah, I lived at the Methodist home, and I got in a fight with two guys over. They came into the room and turned the TV channel. So I got up and turned it back. Next thing you know, we're out on the floor fighting. And my mother happened to be at that point. I was a teenager. She was actually the foster mom, or what we call the house parent, in that house. But these were my brothers, and I used to fight my brother Paul every Saturday out in the yard. Start out playing. Next thing you know, we're fighting it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that happens. Not so much the fighting, but the wrestling, the playing, the arguing, the language that we prefer not to hear, the actions, the acting out, sometimes happens.
Yes.
So that's why we do what we do, though, isn't it, JJ?
That's right. It happens a lot, and we as case managers work with the kiddos, to try to help them with.
But you're out in the
certain
Jeep taking them
skills
for
too.
ice cream.
That's
You don't
right.
have to deal with all that, do you?
Fun Aunt JJ.
Sometimes, but I am Aunt JJ, so I do bring the fun to the place.
Yeah.
So
Yes, we call her our fun Aunt JJ, but she's more like a third parent for our family.
Well, I personally see the post, and if you're not a Facebook friend of Second Chance Youth Ranch, you need to be. Hopefully the team will put that on the screen here, because I see some of the pictures. We can't show faces, but we show activities. We had all the floods recently in central Arkansas, and they were like, for the foster children at the ranch property, they were like, it's snow days. They're out in the yard and they're shooting hoops,
Right.
in between storms. But it's family. And as Christians, we're part of the family of God, and we have the privilege of allowing children who have been traumatized, neglected, or abused to experience the love of God and the joy of the Lord. What an awesome privilege. Hey, we're going to take a brief break and come back and talk more to the ladies, but we're going to take a minute and look at a Project Zero video of children that are praying for a forever family. We'll be right back.
What do you like to do for fun?
Nothing. I don't.
I think you are not telling the truth. What do you like to do for fun?
No, I'm for real. I'll be playing a lot.
Well, when you get home from school, what do you normally do?
I'll be go somewhere to my foster mom's office. My name is Jasmine. I'm 11.
If you had $1 million, what would you buy with it?
I had $1 million. I would buy some. I found and it's in a watch.
It's gonna have you turn your neck only, but then leave your shoulders right there. But towards the perfect angle. But keep your shoulders right there.
If you could change one thing about the world, what would you change?
To have a good family,
Why do you want to be adopted?
so I don't be in this situation. Because it's bad. What is upstairs?
Church stuff.
That one wish I'll be a butterfly.
Why is that?
I love butterflies.
What do you love about them?
They're nice and they're pretty.
Hey, welcome back to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. Those project videos, those Project Zero videos are moving. If you've never seen those, you got to watch at least one or two. They are so touching as we watch children in foster care who are praying, literally praying, that somebody will love them and become mom and dad. I cry through every one of them because I watch this show myself. I don't frankly watch it late at night. I tape it and watch it during the daytime.
Right.
And I encourage you to do the same. And tell me, you're from Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
Where are you from?
I'm from Florida.
Florida. What in the world is somebody from Florida doing in Arkansas? You know, I've got friends, all they talk about is moving to Florida. They
It's
got
a
golf
hidden
courses down there.
We do.
So what brought you to Family Church, and did you come directly from Florida here?
So we've bounced around a little bit. We were in Florida for the first 20-ish years of our lives. And then we moved to California for about 3-4 years while Andrew was doing the professional paintball. And then we had our second child. And I was alone while he was traveling. And at that point, we said we wanted to be near some family. And we avoided mine and went to Andrew's, who's here in Arkansas.
Well, you know what I sense? I sense that someone who left Florida, went to California, needs counseling.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure.
She's good now.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
She's a part of our Second Chance Ranch family,
Right.
so we've got her all healed, delivered,
Right.
set free,
God is good.
got her mind renewed.
Right.
How long have you been married?
About 9 years now.
9. You know, I had friends, Janet and I had been married about 8 years, and we had friends that had been married 13 years. I was just like, wow, that's a long time. How long have you been married?
27 in June.
That is a long time. So what brought you from Louisiana here?
My husband's job. He's a police officer for Union Pacific Railroad. And
He's actually like some sort of investigator. isn't
yeah,
he?
well, yeah. Andrew jokes about him being a federal agent all the time, but
Yeah.
he got transferred up here to be a lieutenant up here, and so I had 2 siblings that lived here, so it was a good move.
Did I ever tell you the story? I know I told your husband back when y'all were attending family church. My daughter, who lives in Texarkana, Texas, and a school teacher and married, their next door neighbor, he knew your husband because he worked as security for the railroad or police or whatever you call it for the railroad. And your husband and the next door neighbor knew each other. Of course, I met the guy and knew him myself. But isn't it a small world? Isn't that cool?
I don't
Cool
think
story?
I did know that.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Yeah, that's
Very
because your husband don't tell you stuff.
Yeah, you're
You know,
right.
us men, we talk. We don't tell our wives stuff.
That's right.
And we may not even talk. We just hang out together. We don't even talk.
Right.
So, what's your future plans as far as being a foster parent? And at the same time, are you finding the kind of support as a foster parent
Absolutely.
that you really need and value?
Yes, if it wasn't for Second Chance and all the support staff that we have, especially Aunt JJ, I don't know if we would have been able to last, especially in the early years when you're getting used to all of how the trauma works and the therapies and everything that these kids
The whole
require.
system of which we operate in as well. It's all very challenging.
Yes,
So, how long have you been a foster parent?
about 3, we're going on to 4 years now.
You know, I don't know if people realize, but to be a foster parent for 3 or 4 years, you need an award. Because
Absolutely.
the longevity of fostering is not very good.
That's true.
And that's why at Second Chance Youth Ranch we have worked, and you know, I'm French, I say we work here at the ranch. Billy and Rachel and the support staff have worked so diligently for so many years to have a network of support so that we don't lose foster parents faster than we can gain foster parents.
Right.
And that's I just give Billy and Rachel kudos. Chad Strike, the clinical staff, they have done such a wonderful job of developing that entire support network. My mother was a foster parent. The only support was the case worker, what we used to call the welfare worker. There was one of them in Craighead County that my mother worked with. That was it. I think there were 2 in the office, the secretary and the welfare worker.
Right.
And that was my introduction as a child to fostering. And there was no support. My mother with 19 kids, us 5 plus 14 others, the support was that one lady. And of course, my mother didn't really need any support. She run a tight ship. So what is it you'd like to tell the audience, JJ? What opportunities are there for people, either employment or volunteering, or how can somebody in the community, business, civic organization, a church, an individual, how can they support our foster families, not just ours, but all the different foster families in the state and the various ministries that are here?
Well, I think they would benefit most from, they get tired. And so, you know, like me going over there on Tuesday and just letting her and her husband go for a coffee date or a lunch date.
She's only got 8 kids. She gets tired.
She's got 8 children. So, you know, something that simple, somebody volunteering to come over and watch the kids on a weekend night for them to go out on a date night, you know.
You have 8 children. How old is the youngest?
He will be 2 in April.
And the oldest?
She just turned 15.
So that's quite a range. So that would make you tired.
Yes, yes.
Hey, is it pretty cool though having a 2-year-old?
Yes.
Is that yours?
Yes.
So this is even cooler.
I like all babies.
Yeah.
We had, when we first started, we had a 2-year-old.
That's pretty
who
cool.
we
Well, from the very beginning, back in 2000, when we started construction on the ranch, my goal was always to have children of all ages. We immediately found out teenagers were the hardest, 12 to 18 were the hardest to place, and we focused on that. Then we switched in recent years, based on all the moving parts, to sibling groups, and so we're now getting infants. Oh man, to me, that's always been my heart. The sooner we can help them, the sooner they heal.
That's right.
And we've got a minute, so tell us, what can somebody do, JJ? Help give them a night off? So there's a process. They'd be interviewed, they'd be screened and so forth. It's a little bit of a process. It's not that difficult.
It's not.
That's a DHS regulation. So what is it from your perspective? What is it that people could do, or what do people do? We only have 40 seconds. What do people do that outside of our immediate staff that make it worthwhile?
to like help
Yeah.
the families. So recently we had someone reach out to be a mentor to some of our kids, which they need because we can feed them and give them support, but they're forced with us, you know, at the end of the day. So to have someone to choose to spend time with them and to pour into them and be a good influence and role model is huge.
There are so many opportunities for you to get involved. That's why this show is on the air. It's not so we can just share with you, but so that you can share with us, changing hearts and changing lives one day at a time. We'll see you next week right here at 2CYR-TV. Bye-bye.